agriculture lobby is powerful, more powerful than the renewable or electric car lobby. Even so, the reality is our inability to scale up ethanol as a petroleum substitute in order to meet the U.S. fuel demand. If the energy return on the energy invested is not substantially higher, it's just not enough to justify using our agricultural land to grow biofuels. And Kris Nelder explains why.
Bringing up biofuels, another challenge that doesn't seem like it's going to pan out very well because of all the externalities that go into creating biofuels. Why have we continued to follow that path?
We have put a lot of support into biofuels because the agriculture lobby is powerful. And because it's an easy substitute, more or less, to go from liquid petroleum to liquid ethanol. And we've already got about 10% of the gasoline supply in the U.S. is ethanol. And you can go up to 85%, with the 85 cars. But again, that was another very corrupted thing, the way that the incentives were structured. If you compare the corn lobby to the electric car lobby, it's David and Goliath stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think that's really part of the problem, is that if we imagine that going about our policy choices through politics and energy is the way to go, then you would have to imagine that sort of everyone has an equal seat at the table, which isn't true at all. The vested interests for fossil fuels and for the agriculture lobby, the car lobby and so on, is vastly, vastly more powerful, more deep-pocketed than anybody on the renewable or electric car side. Like 100 to 1 kind of a thing.
But don't the corn lobbyists see what's down the end of the road?
I think the corn lobby looks at this the same way that the fossil fuel industry does. It's not my job to execute energy transition.
Sure.
It's my job to make some money making corn.
Right.
Or making oil or whatever. And that's what their corporate charter says. That's what they do. It's not their job to chart a path for the U.S. energy policy for the next 20 years. That's not their job. And in fact, the corn growers would say, hey, if you don't want to buy foreign oil, at least we can have domestic fuel made right here in America with corn, which is true.
Would we be able to produce that monocrop to the scale we have now?
Oh, it's not scalable. It's not scalable. I mean, right now, the U.S. uses, I think, about 1/3 of its corn crop to turn it into ethanol. And that gives us 10% of our gasoline only. So, no, that's not scalable. The only way that biofuels might be scalable at some point in the future is by going through probably algal biofuel, biofuel from algae. I don't even think cellulosic ethanol can scale up enough because it just takes such a vast amount of woody fiber, which has a transport cost associated with it because it's very low energy density stuff. And there's lots and lots of technical reasons that are going to stand in the way of that. I mean, they still haven't figured out how to make enzymes cheap enough. This isn't something that's going to scale anytime soon. And there are lots of technical challenges that people just don't seem to appreciate. How difficult it is to come up with a good substitute for petroleum.
Right. Well, we don't understand the energy return on the energy invested.
Exactly.
That to grow the corn or to invest in renewables, you're expending so many calories of fossil fuels to get that.
That's right.
One calorie.
Before the corn ethanol boom really took off, there were people in the peak oil community who took a good look at the net energy on it and said, well, wait a minute now, you're only getting 1.2 back for every one you put in. That's not enough of an energy gain for this to make sense. Right. It doesn't pencil out. So that information was out there. That analysis had been done. But nobody managed to get that word in edgewise amidst the heavy pressure from the agriculture lobby and the car lobby and everybody else who had the ear of the policymakers to push for corn ethanol, which is, you know, now it's become, I think, kind of the boondoggle that we always knew it would be. Most of the ethanol startups over that period have now gone bankrupt or been acquired. That was completely predictable, but we couldn't seem to get that message through to anybody in the policy sphere. Not when they had everybody else knocking their door down and spending lots of money to promote corn ethanol.
All right.